Welcome back to the PFC Showcast. We're here at our home, the Rock House Dive Hard Kitchen Venue. We got two good friends of the show. We got Paul, good friend of the show, and good friend and first time return guest Aaron. Ladies and gentlemen, Abysswalker. How are you guys today?
Good.
Doing great.
Yeah.
Doing fantastic.
I know these guys just dropped their full length album about 2 weeks ago.
Yes, sir.
All right, so tell us about the recording process. Like, when did you guys start with the writing? And give us like a brief timeline. Just nothing too in depth, but
So it's quite an interesting process. We came out of our EP in 2020, right during the midst of the pandemic, and we went pretty straight into the recordings of that. Um, so usually the way that songs are conceptualized is that usually they're all recorded from a one man band perspective. You usually start with a riff, and then the drums come after that, and then the bass comes after that, and then you just put it all together. The album itself always started out as a concept, as trying to tell a story of a nightmare that I experienced in when I was a lot younger, in which everybody that I knew and I loved just ceased to exist in one moment, and it was a very traumatic nightmare for me. And ever since then, I wanted to put that whole idea into writing, and I finally got around to it so many years later, and that's what really became the album.
so the whole mask, the imagery, is that all part of it? I assume.
So the mask is just is just something that I commended because I make very strange faces when I sing and I play. And I don't like seeing those because then the pictures come out and the videos come out, and I don't like them. It wasn't anything to do with the dream itself or with the concept. It's just really a purely aesthetic thing.
Well, it fits well. I mean, I figured it was a whole like artistic angle, with that.
Well, I always wanted to have something different. I always liked, I was a very big fan of Ghost when they started out their thing. Now it's been kind of toned down if you ask me, but I always wanted to do something different. I didn't want just a bunch of dudes up there with, thrash vests and jeans and Jordans. I'm still a fan of that kind of a presentation, but I feel like in this day and age, you got to stand out somehow, even if it looks tacky or weird or dumb. You gotta do something that's different.
Plus, theatrics are always cool, anyways. So
Exactly.
I agree with both those statements. Like theatrics, I mean, not the best musicians in the world, but Dee Snider, Kiss. You don't
yeah,
remember how good or bad they played. You remember the pyro and the whatnot.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Theatrics made a really big comeback in the 2010s, and I think that it created a little bit of a division, particularly because of Ghost's influence. And I think that's like a wrong way to look at it. I mean, now you got even bands like, Sleep Token. I mean, I don't even like those guys, but I mean, they're top of the world, and they do have, a mask and a costume aesthetic. So I think that it even if it's just a little bit or just a little bit of theatrics, it goes a long way. It goes a long way to setting you apart.
Yeah, and also the look. I mean, not just your specific look, but bands in general. My biggest gripe, especially around here, you're getting a talented band on stage, but they literally came off the street. You can't distinguish them from else to crowd. Like you, Aaron, you're in your chill mode, but you're wearing your Hawaiian shirt, your hat, you got your nose ring. Like you look like you're in a band, or you're somebody. You look like, well, you kind of like in theater tech mode. You got your black jeans, your black shirt. You look like you belong in the scene or in the production or on stage. And a lot of bands don't do that, even when they are on stage.
Yeah, like my bassist here, he's got the whole fashion completely nailed, and I'm jealous of him because of that. Outside of the stage, I'm pretty basic looking metalhead, and I really am jealous of my bassist for that.
No, but you got to think like you're all black, you got long hair. Okay, he's in music or theater. Like me, I'm kind of bummed. I'm just wearing my rock house shirt today.
Yeah, no, definitely. You got to express it somehow. It's your music is your identity.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. And I do agree, like that. It's real easy to just look like someone off the street or something, and then you play, and then you get lost in the crowd or something, and it's like people can't approach you, because hey, where'd he go? But I mean, obviously, if you're all theatric looking out and you played a show and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go hang out with the fans, and they're gonna be able to see you, so they'll, oh, it's the guy, It's like you change back into like some street clothes. Is like, I mean, if you're trying to be incognito, then yeah, by all means, and then they're not gonna recognize you. But it's like if you're trying to interact with them, it's like real easy for them to identify you and stuff. So it's pretty cool. So it's got its pros and cons.
But also, like, if you're playing a 4-band lineup, set you aside from the dudes who are just throwing it in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely.
Because I remember, I can't remember. I think it was the Lynch Mob. Like, Tenet. I'm not Hidden Expectation. My brain's spent. Invader.
Yeah.
Valentino joined Invader. He has this 80s style going on. I made the joke. I was like, oh, that's Valentino. I don't recognize him by his leather jacket on.
Yeah, I used to. I played it one show with Ev a long time ago. Yeah, he's back when we were together in a band. Yeah, he actually did have that whole attitude and idea of trying to stand out some way somehow. So yeah, we have that mutual belief.
So you said you started laying down the tracks or the writing phase during the pandemic or towards the tail end of it?
I would say it was during the it was no, it was during to the tail end of it. Um it was there was quite a bit of internal problems that were surrounding the band at the time. I mean, to just to I mean, a lot of musicians came in and out during that time of
Oh yeah, we had other band members.
we had other band members coming in and out during that time. Um the for example, when the Dreamcatcher first started being recorded, it was actually a song that I had written for another band, actually. It was actually a band that I wrote for a band by the name of Crash, I'm sure everybody knows. It was meant to be more of a glam rock song at the beginning. I actually wrote it as a as a song that a stripper would dance to. Eventually, Daniel Pignon, the frontman of Crash, would tell me that the song was not appropriate for the aesthetic of Crash, so I ended up making it an Abysswalker song, and I took out most of the glam elements of it, and I made it more of a '90s metal song. And it was during that time that we began having troubles with our original drummer, and ended up searching for some options online to see what I could find, and I came across the name of Fabio Alessandrini, who still is to this day a session musician who plays for the band Annihilator, which some people know as the one of the biggest Canadian thrash bands. And he advertised himself online, and I ended up hiring his services, and I fell in such in love with his drum work that I ended up doing the entire album with him and exclusively him. And I mean, that's the beginning of that.
Except the cover.
So that was the guy. 'Cause I remember you said the guy was out of the country, so he laid down the drum tracks, and then you were at one point you talked about getting a local drummer, I guess, just for the shows, or
So this is a complicated story because yeah, for the whenever you record drums, it's technically the most expensive and it's the most technical part of the recording process, especially live drums, because it requires a lot of equipment and requires a lot of time, and it's in this music scene, it's a very tough challenge to get that. So when I was hiring Fabio to do the drums on studio, I was trying to recruit several drummers to play for us live. And in the end, very few came to fruition, unfortunately. And the live component is, I to this day I aim to make it, separate from the studio, because overall recording in the studio is a complete different mindset, and so a lot of bands do it, don't a lot of people don't even believe it, but a lot of bands, you have the studio drummer, and then you have the live drummer, just because sometimes you live in different countries, and even sometimes you go tour to another part of the world, and then you end up hiring somebody else that can do the job, and stuff like that. It's the same here. sometimes you have to outsource to different to different various sources in order to get what you need. But for the local component, we still haven't been able to find a drummer.
So when you outsourced to that guy, did you guys come up with the parts on your own and say, "Hey, man, here's your gig. Play this for the record," or
So funny story with that. Um, I I would write out his drum parts using a keyboard, using a program, to give him an idea of what I wanted. But most of the time, the guy would end up rejecting my ideas. He would end because I'm not a drummer. I just play whatever sounds good to me. And most of the time he'd be like, nah, man, like, like that drum part right there, doesn't work because it's the timing's just weird, and check this out, this would sound better. And at the end, it was a very educating process from because you got a celebrity drummer telling a freaking noob drummer how to how it really works and stuff. So yeah, I did write the parts out, but most of the time they ended up getting just changed into something different, and that was better anyways.
Right. So when you sat down to write, was it the two of you? Was it 50-50 on the writing credits, or like he writes guitar bass, you write guitar, or
So yeah, when it comes to the bass realm, it's all Aaron's domain there. I put very little creative input there because most of the time he just nails it. He's a very awesome bassist. Um, but for the overall creative process, most of the songs were under my direction. However, several most of the recordings, all ideas that we came up together throughout the years, going back to even as far as 2014. It was all riffs that we had written during drunk sessions or just random playing sessions. And I kept all those riffs with me for a really long time. For example, "Dance with the Shadows" is a song that I came up while we were watching Mortal Kombat videos at Aaron's old apartment. And that riff stayed with me for all these years, and I finally put it into practice. So it's really a lot of riff archiving that really came together for this.
okay? So you say he does all the bass. So you would say, are you pretty much everything else, or do you guys like with the keys and whatnot? Do you guys bounce back off each other? Or?
So for the for yeah, so mostly it's Aaron on bass, and then I had the general direction for most of it. For with the exception of "Forsaken Rain," which was entirely Aaron's song. Why don't you tell him more about that?
Yeah. So I write a lot, so that's
Shocking.
I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's like a weird thing, but it's like a tick in my head or something. But it's like, man, it's like all I do is I'm if I'm at work, it's like I write. I'm driving, I'm writing, like not physically, but like in my head, it's like, man, I'll just come up with stuff, and then it's like, oh, I gotta get home and pick up the guitar and try and figure out what I had in my head. I'll record it, even if it's like a little 5-second thing too. Like it's like the littlest ideas. It'll be like, oh, this sounds cool, dee and it's like, okay, cool. Figure it out on the guitar or bass, whatever, and then I record it, and then it's like obviously I'm in multiple bands. Everyone knows that, but it's like depending on whoever I feel like it's like, oh, like, hey, bro, like for these ones, it's like I'll send him like little recordings, like, hey, I just came up with this, like might not be nothing, but if it's something, it's like we can always work on it, whatever. Otherwise, it's in the air, and then it's like same thing with the other bands, same thing. Like I'll just write some stuff, and it's like I'll send it to them like, hey, like check this out. I don't know if you want to use this or something. Came up with it. I don't even know what it is. It sounded pretty cool to me. Blah blah blah. Well, anyways, that song "Forsaken Rain" was pretty much like that. It's um, a lot of people know me as like I'm pretty much into like kind of 90s metal, and maybe like and just weird stuff, like weird music that not really that many people listen to. But one of my favorite bands, like back in the day, like when I was first really getting into guitar and stuff, was Dokken.
Love
And
Dawkins.
so George Lynch is like one of my favorite guitar players that like I don't really like one of the ones that I don't really advertise. Like, it's like a lot of people like there's some like, like Jerry Cantrell and Zach Wild and Dime like that, are very openly advertised as like my favorite guitarists, Randy Rhoads, Malmsteen, stuff like that. Um Joe, and yeah, it's like so, but like he's one of my favorite guitars. Like I love his riffs, like because he uses like a lot of like diminished stuff, and and his nickname is Mr. Scary because like his riffs are just like they're just so cool. So like that song was very George Lynch influenced as far as like the stuff that I kind of my ideas that I wrote kind of. Um, but of course I also like power metal and stuff too. So it was kind of like making like what if George Lynch played power metal or something like that. And so I kind of tried to come up with something like that, and then obviously ran home, played my guitar, recorded a little snippet of it or whatever, and I sent it to this guy, and I was like, hey, like or I don't remember if I sent it to him or if I was just jamming it like right then and there. I don't remember, but like I think it might have been that actually. I think like we were just chilling and I was just playing it, and then he was like, dude, that sounds cool, and
So what actually happened is that we were he plays at a church. He plays group music at a church, and on one of our freestyle sessions he started jamming the riff, and I said, dude, that sounds fucking badass. And there was actually like there was a sheet of music there with like some church song on it. I don't remember the whole name of the song, but it had the word forsaken in the lyrics. So like it stayed on my mind for a really long time. And then one day I'm like, hey man, let's play me that riff again. Just play it for me again. And then from there, just the word forsaken rain just popped into my head. So it's like a weird twist on church music and all the influences that he named.
I love like talking in bands like you guys and finding out what the influences. For example, like I look at an Abysswalker CD, you wouldn't go, "Oh wow, I bet that sounds like George Lynch or Lynch Mob." I mean, that's cool to find out these little ins and outs.
yeah, yeah, it's wild. So like on my, I play in all these metal bands and stuff, and it's like and like my favorite band's Pink Floyd, and it's like that's like what like influences me the most, but so you wouldn't really think like you'd probably be like, he probably likes, Black Sabbath's probably like his all-time favorite band, or like one of the thrash bands like
Yeah, that's like
Exodus or something like that, like, oh yeah, this guy only it's like I was like, nah, bro, I listen to weird shit like Gregorian chants and stuff for no reason, like it's like really like unironically, yeah, bro, that shit kicks, I'll be listening to people just all day, and people be like, dude, what the fuck do you listen to, man? It's like it's just what I'm into right now, bro. Like,
Yeah.
and I'll come up with shit using that. I'll be like, I heard a guy go, and I was like, dude, that shit snapped. And then they'll be like, what the fuck? You came up with a riff from like some monk just howling and shit. It's like, yeah.
I remember it was the late '90s. Someone put out a Gregorian techno version of the Gregorian chant. So people have been playing with that for a while.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's so it's wild, all sorts of shit. I listen to all sorts of weird shit, like weird fucking Native American music, all sorts of shit,
No,
so it's
you
like,
do the not to get off topic, but I know you do the outlaw country, and I know you play gigs with Danny Wood. But you guys put any Indian or Native influences in any of that,
oh yeah. So I mean, you mean like an Abyss
or any or your
Yeah.
outlaw country or anything?
but yeah,
Just-
yeah. So it's like, so exactly. So sometimes I'll come up with a riff and I'll be like, bro, like I was jamming this shit, I'll be like, I was jamming this and it's totally, and I'll tell them it's totally this style. But check it out, like when I play it on the electric with the distortion, I'll be like, check this as oh dude, that shit sounds fucking wild, you know? And that's what I'm saying. So it's like I'll take whatever that I listen to, you know, and I'll just unconventional shit and I'll just make a riff out of it. And it's like, dude, what the fuck? That shit sounds so weird. And you know, because it's unconventional, you know, and it's like, and that's what I tell people. Like me myself, obviously I listen to metal, but like it's not like I don't listen to it all the time, 24/7, you know. So it's like I'm always listening to like weird shit. Sometimes it's like I'll just be listening to like techno, yeah, like yeah, you know, like you say, I'll just be listening to techno or you know, like 90s trance, and it's just like, and then I'll come up with riffs, and I'm just like, yeah, yeah, totally. That I don't, you know, you know, and it's no one could tell me, oh, that's a Metallica riff, bro. You know, it's like, nah, dude, I came up with this listening to fucking trance. Like, you can't tell me this is Metallica, you know. So it's like, but sometimes, so like I'll do a like music fasts. So I'll just be like, you know what, I'm not gonna listen to this genre for a while, so that I can get better at writing this genre. So it's kind of weird. It's I don't know.
You keep your influences fresh.
I'm
You got a
weird.
rotation going on.
I'm not a normal person, so it's like I'm kind of just what. But I mean, I don't want to say I'm a writer, you know,
Oh, you
'cause,
are.
like, but you know, it's like that's just how I write, you know. It's like I'll go to the middle of nowhere and not have an instrument on me, and I'll just start coming up with stuff, and then it's like, okay, cool. I spent a week out here doing absolutely nothing, and I thought of these riffs. Let me try and come up with them on the instrument, you know. And so it's like, I don't know, it's weird, but that's my process. That's because it gets kind of maddening sometimes. Like I have like on my own stuff, like you know, I have my own stuff, and it's like I've got like gazillions of fucking riffs and all sorts of shit already that I just haven't done yet or haven't worked on yet. And it's and like the other day, not to shamefully plug in here all random, but like literally like last Saturday, I just was hanging with a guy, a bud, and I literally just was like, hey, let me jam your guitar real quick. I literally came up with a riff, and then I was like, dude, let's record that shit right now. And we literally sat there for 2 hours and 2 hours, and I recorded a whole song for Wolfskönig.
You have
That's
to,
it.
because like
Yeah.
imagine if you went home with a sick next morning, you're like, fuck, I forgot it.
Yeah. Oh, not only that, I'm a very, very I don't like to do things on my own. So it's like, as far as that goes, it's weird. So it's like I do, but it's like I'm not that good by myself. So it's like this fool has his little home studio. So I was like, hey, fuck it, let's record it right now. You know? If I was at home, it would have been 2 years for that song for me to have finished that. Or even longer, because you know, it's like by the time I find time to turn on my computer and get all the program running and be like, okay, cool, there's the guitar, okay, cool, there's the bass, okay, and then drums and then vocals, and it's like, you know, it's like, yeah, I wouldn't, it's harder for me to do it by myself, but it's like with bands it's way easier because like, well, fuck it, I only got to focus on either writing or playing, you know.
So I imagine you at home with like you have a code with all your different hard drives of all your unreleased stuff you have recorded.
Pretty much, man. I mean, my phone too, like it's just stacked with riffs and songs and stuff, and like my acoustic stuff. I've already got like on the Outlaw side, I already have like 7 songs. I'm like, fuck, okay, I need to just find the time and knock them out real quick, because it's really just gonna be, it's not gonna be like full band, so this is gonna be like kind of like Johnny Cash kind of shit, you know, just but whatever, you know, just acoustic and vocals. So it shouldn't be too hard for me to do, but it's just about finding the time. But
Now, as far as writing goes, do you ever have to do with like say you write a riff like, oh, this is for Abysswalker, then you tweak it and like, nah, this is more for Genocide, or this is more for Morbid, or vice versa. You write it Morbid, it's like, oh no, that's more Abysswalker.
You can answer the question honestly.
no, actually I don't. Like so like usually whoever I show it to first, if they stake claim to it, then that's who gets it. So I'll show it to everybody, and I'll be like, look, this is what I came up with. it can always change though, because this guy like sometimes I'll show him stuff and he'll change them, you know, and it's like and it'll be cool. Like it's cool, yeah, that does sound better like that or whatever, you know, and or whatever. So like but yeah, like there was one song where I like one riff where I showed Morbid, you know, and we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna put it like we put it in this one song, and it's like, and this fucking song is gonna be like 8 minutes. It's got to be like 8 minute song or something because there's so many fucking different parts in it, and I'm like, gosh damn. But like, yeah, like so then I told this, dude, check out this riff I showed for them, and he's like, bro, like we could have used that. It's like, oh, well, I already gave it to them, so it's like. It's like, we could still use it, though. I mean, technically, it's my riff, so we could make something out of it, too. I don't give a fuck.
So like a group text, like, all right, dibs. I'll Abysswalker playing this. Sorry, guys.
Should, but then everyone would probably get all crazy. They'd be like, hey, that one guy, let's all kick him out. Like, okay. Why don't we all just become one band and kick that guy out? I was like, oh, shit, yeah. That makes way more sense.
So, Abysswalker, you guys originally formed, it was 2016? Or is that right? That's your
no. Well, I mean, the real birth of the band was 2019. I guess. I mean, I conceptualize it, man, really far back. I mean, this guy can attest to it that I had the idea to start a band called Abysswalker even as early as 2014. But I just never, I couldn't get my ideas in check. It was just really just a lot of conceptualizing and exploring sounds. But in 2019 is when I really, really decided to, open the floodgates and start something.
Like, yeah, we're gonna actually do this, and so, yeah, when that we got some dudes together and we started jamming, and it was, and we were like, dang, we were coming up with some pretty cool stuff already, and. Yeah, like, and one of them, like in that first time, I mean, one of the guys was one of my students, and he was, and at the time, and it was like pretty sick because it was like I was excited because I was like, heck yeah, like, this, we're gonna have some cool stuff, which we did come up with some pretty cool stuff, and which most of it was, on the first EP. So,
and that one was at 20 when the first EP dropped. Was that 2020 or?
Yeah, 2020.
So you have the one EP, then the brand new full length album. Those are your two, like, albums or full lengths?
Yeah, we have the EP, the Days of Ruin, which was the EP from 2020, and then the new album, which is Spire at the Gates of Heaven in 2024. Yeah, so one EP, one album.
You guys got any new merch designs or?
Yeah,
so much.
Every single day, I'm coming up with new ideas. It's just finding the time to getting around to like put them down. Yeah. Right now, I have a design that our good friend Jorge Duarte from Morbid Hand he made, and I'm getting that design finalized right now. And then I have the album cover, which I probably should have finished it way earlier, but I just never got around to it, and that one's coming out. And I guess and then I have another merch design that everybody's been asking me for. It's for the By Force of Will single art. It's basically just a horseman in a very abstract, very fantasy looking background on a white shirt, and it looks pretty sick. It should be coming out soon.
Cool. And obviously, I see you guys on Spotify, but I assume you guys are on all platforms, Apple, SoundCloud, whatnot.
Yeah, we're on pretty much everything. We're even on Snapchat.
Nice. Any links you want to plug? Your website, Facebook, merch links, or anything I'm forgetting to mention?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and drop in the Bandcamp, which is where you can buy our CD from, and you can buy the physical CD from. And let me tell you, that's the ultimate version of listening to the album. Why? Because it gives you that 100% true aesthetic to it, and also it does include a cover of Somebody Told Me by the Killers, which is a very, very fucking awesome cover. Honestly, like that cover turned out so fucking good. A lot of my sponsors who aren't even metal, I mean, but most of my sponsors, they like things like classic rock and synth pop, and they believe in me, but they listen to the cover and they're like, wow, dude, I actually fucking like this. This is a song that I really fucking enjoy. So that's definitely the best way to listen to it.
And that one's physical media exclusive?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Who are your sponsors? Give them some press if you want.
So Um, since 2017, I assist a Russian songwriter by the name of Maria Mar, who is in a band called Omnimar, who are very big in Europe. And I've assisted her with a number of things, from running her merch store to helping her write songs. And we're very, very, very close. And thanks to this friendship, one of her sponsors by the name of Mark Clancy, who's from Sacramento, California, ended up sponsoring me as well. Thanks to this relationship that we've developed over the years. And thanks to him, most of the financing for the songs and for the album came from there. So big thank you to Mark, and big thank you to Maria for all your help. And yeah, I mean, it's all pretty much history from there. They assisted with the making and the publishing of the album, and here we are.
So at the moment, you're just going to remain a two-piece at the moment, or is there any?
At the I get this question so often, so often. It would be my pleasure to have a drummer for the band, and it's just such a big task for for this local scene, because there's so many bands, and the music scene is so compressed here. Like everybody knows each other, everybody knows who everybody is. It's that small. And like I still we're still looking. We're still on the market for a drummer. Everybody that's interested in giving Abysswalker a try. We're open to anything. We're open to any sounds. We're open to anybody. We don't discriminate anybody. We have been hit up by a lot of people, and most people don't even make it to the audition. I don't know what it is. I think it's just that people are just too many different bands and have too many things going on. And that's life for you. You have your job, you have your kids, you have your family. Everybody completely understands that. And there's also the thing of coming into a band that already has a sound. So at this time, no, we're open for anybody. We're open to any drummers, any guitarists. We technically already have another guitarist, but I always wanted to be just a singer, so we could always have another one as well.
Yeah, it'd be cool to be a 5-piece. So.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. Y'all listen out there, aspiring drummers looking for a gig. Hit up these dudes.
Yeah, man. I mean, shoot, you might even be your kids at this point that are, that might be a dope drummer. It's just, listen to the music, listen to the album. If it's for you, hit us up. I mean, we're cool with trying out anybody, and I mean, and if you're a kid out there playing music, listening to our stuff, keep it going, man, and don't give up, because I mean, shoot, a couple of losers like us put an album out, you can too.
Yeah, what he said.
Well, the beauty of this, I mean, I guess it's kind of a plus and a minus in today's culture. Everything's DIY. I mean, I damn sure wouldn't have been doing this podcast 10 years ago.
Right?
Yeah.
It's got its pros and cons. It's like the pros is that it's like, dang, man, anyone can do it. Just the cons is just that anybody can do it. Yeah,
but there's no excuses nothing stopping you, because
exactly,
like you said, anyone can do it.
Exactly. So it's like, F it, just do it anyways. Like, even if it sucks, do it. Why not? The first step of getting good at something is sucking at it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
100%.
Failure's the best motivator, best teacher. I mean,
yeah,
in anything in life.
Yeah, man, that's I learned that.
And nobody got it on the first try.
And they did it, probably wasn't that good.
Nope.
Bunch of nerds.
But before we wrap up here, anything else you guys want to plug or promote, or are we ever? I don't want to push too hard here, but we are going to get a gig in the future, a live performance.
We're trying. I mean, like at that point, it's just trying to find somewhere that if we have a full band, more than likely it would be way easier to set up some live shows. But like as it is right now, it's just about where to play, and like just having that level of it's like, hey, we could do this with, you know, backings and stuff, and, you know, and all the good stuff that goes with it. You know, sound guys that are capable, you know, and then there's some really good sound guys out there, you know, and it's like, so it's just a matter of a place that'll host some good shows, and then and of course gigs that have open slots that we can just jump in and stuff, you know. So, or even setting up shows that, you know, that cater to the sound, you know. So it's like that little culture of the genre and stuff can scope it out, you know.
That me and Paul, we talked about this off and not off mic, but you know, anytime you guys want to do something, I mean, I'm always down to you guys give me your list of do's and don'ts, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah,
For sure, man. For sure. As soon as we're ready to go.
All right. Anything else before we peace out?
Just check us out on Spotify and Bandcamp.
Yeah, support your local scene, support musicians you like, you know, and you know, buy from them, you know, like streaming's awesome by all means, but you know, buy stuff.
See, I get called a damn dinosaur, but like I'm gonna buy your CD. I'm gonna buy your shirt. That's how I am. But
you know, like, and it's like, and you don't even have to buy it from us if you like the music and you don't want us to know you like it. By all means, order it through the website. You know,
yeah,
get it shipped to you. You know, like no one's got to know you like it. You know, if it's like that, no one's got
on Bandcamp or whatever.
Yeah, you know, exactly. It's like there's Bandcamp. You can buy the songs digitally. You don't have to, you know, you don't even have to have us ship you a CDs if you don't want us to know who you are. You know, just buy the CD or donate $1 on Bandcamp. All sorts of crazy stuff that you can do to support. And I mean, that's not just with us either. It's like, you know, with any band, you know, like support them. You know, especially if you like them.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. That's pretty much it.
And as a former promoter, like if you want to support the band or the band's playing a free show, like these do for me numerous times. Well, actually, I get you paid and free, but
oh yeah.
But you guys did both actually. But I mean, if the show's free, support the bar. You know. I mean, if they don't have to buy a ticket, you know, and kick in $2 for a drink, or you know,
yeah,
buy a CD. Buy
and if you don't drink, buy the band a beer.
Yeah, or some wings or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I'm saying just keep the scene live. You know, like if the show's free, you know, something's got to pay the cost. Something's got to pay the bills, the lights,
definitely. Yeah.
That
for sure.
But again, Abysswalker was great having you guys. Look forward to that show and stay tuned for the next episode. Love you guys.
Thank you so much, Mikey.
Sounds good.